Welcome to the AI PMM webinar series. This is Cindy F. Solomon, your moderator. Delighted to be with you today on Friday, April 5th. The AI PMM is the Association of International Product Marketing and Management. Founded in 1998, it is the largest product management professional group with membership in over 65 countries. It provides professional development and certification credentials to advance your career, forward your professional knowledge, and validate your expertise. The available certifications are Certified Product Manager, Certified Product Marketing Manager, Agile Certified Product Manager, and the Certified Innovation Leader. The AI PMM is available on the web at www.aipmm.com. Follow them on Twitter at AIPMM. And if you're tweeting today, use the standard hashtag for product management events. It is pound, PROD, MGMT. This is Cindy F. Solomon. I'm delighted to be your moderator today. I founded the Global Product Management Talk and the Startup Product Movement for Product Excellence. You can listen to archives and weekly broadcasts at blogtalkradio.com/PROD MGMT-TALK and follow on Twitter. I'm delighted to present to you Brian Lawley, who is the CEO and founder of 280 Group. He is a prolific expert in the product management space. He has trained thousands of people to be product management experts. And I will turn it over to Brian in a moment. Just a few words about housekeeping. Please leave your chat window open. I may be sending you some messages to amplify what is being discussed on the slides. And use the questions box. There's a special questions box in your menu. Put your questions for Brian about the slides, about the topic, about specific information that you would like answered. And there will be a Q&A session at the end. And everyone who has participated in the questions will be entered into a raffle to win valuable resources from 280 Group. And also stay on because Brian's very generous in giving away free resources. But specific people will win the raffle for one of 5 excellent books from the 280 Group. And we will announce the winners on the session before it's over. So Brian, please take it away. Start with the title. I think we passed the title slide.
Yes. So the title of this presentation is Optimizing Product Management at Your Company. And I'm Brian Lawley. I'm the founder and CEO of the 280 Group. And thank you so much, Cindy and AIPMM, for hosting this. It looks like we have a pretty big crowd today. That's great. I think this is a topic that's extremely important because there are many companies that have product management functions that are not nearly as good as they could be. And so I'm going to share some tips and ideas about how we go about helping our clients to optimize product management and really raise it to the level where it's dramatically more effective. So the agenda, I'm going to talk very briefly about the 280 Group and our background so you have some context for the presentation and for the material and how we've developed it. And then we're going to talk about 3 aspects of optimization: people, processes, and tools. And then I'll wrap up by giving you some suggestions around how to make the changes and the optimization stick in your particular organization. And then we'll do the drawing and the Q&A. As Cindy mentioned, please make sure that you type in your questions in the chat box. I'm going to encourage her to occasionally chime in with questions if they're particularly relevant to the slide that's up. Otherwise, we'll be going through the questions at the end. Everyone on the call is welcome to download a copy of my book, Optimal Product Process. You can get it at tinyurl.com/free OPP book. It describes the 7-phase product management life cycle that AIPMM developed, and then the optimal product process that the 280 group built on top of it. It's really the basis for implementing an excellent process at your particular company. It's completely customizable, and it fits in all different situations, whether you're doing waterfall or agile. So please download a copy and feel free to share it around your company. It's one of the resources that I highly recommend in terms of helping to get product management optimized in your particular environment. As Cindy said, we're going to be giving away 5 books at the end, electronic copies of 5 of the 280 group press books. So quickly about the 280 group, we are a product management and product marketing services and product firm, and we do a whole range of things from product management assessments, where we come in and do a deep dive on how product management is done at your particular company, and then help you build a plan for dramatically improving it. We do consulting projects, and we also provide contractors. So if you're short on staff, or you have some extra work that where you need someone who's very seasoned to come in and do the work for you, we have a worldwide staff that are really excellent at doing things like business cases and market requirements and product launches, et cetera. We have a whole range of training courses and certifications. We offer the Optimal Product Management training course, which is a 3-day course that covers the optimal product process and teaches you how to be a great product manager no matter where your product is in the life cycle. We also offer the AIPMM certification, so you can become an Agile certified product manager, a certified product manager, or a certified product marketing manager through our courses, either self-study or in person. And we do have courses coming up in San Jose, in Washington, D.C., in Austin, and elsewhere throughout the world. We also have a complete set of product management templates. So if you need to write a market requirements document, or create a product roadmap, or do a product launch plan, we have some really great resources that you can leverage to produce excellent results with far less work on your part. And then I've already mentioned the 280 Group series of books, the best-selling product management books in the world. So, as I mentioned, we do assessments, and that's a lot of the content in this presentation is based on what we do when we do an assessment and the methodology that we use. And we tend to do it in a 4-phase fashion. We come in and do the assessment and build out a plan. That leads to training and education in the areas where you need improvement. We do coaching, mentoring, and seminars. And then longer term, we do certifications. We help companies build out product management portals, which I'll show you an example of later in the presentation. And we also create product management handbooks or manuals for companies, and I'll show you an example of that as well. So when we think of optimal product management, there are really 3 factors that come into play. It's your people. What are their skills like? What are their personalities like, and how does that match the products and the product lines that you have? Your process. So many companies don't have an actual process, or if they have a process, it's not well understood. And then on the other extreme, many companies have far too much process, and the process becomes the end goal rather than creating great products. And then the tools. Whether you use a software package for managing requirements, or whether you use things like our templates and in Microsoft Office for creating market requirements, or for creating product requirements, or for end-of-lifing a product, or business cases, etc. Do you have good tools that are standardized and that are set up so that your people can be very productive and get really good, consistent results? So what we do is we help people pull these 3 aspects together, and I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to do that today. get some feedback, implement some learning, and then go back and see what has the change stuck, what's the next level, etc. So it's a continuous feedback and continuous improvement loop. So on the people side, a couple of things. The most important thing that you can do in terms of people is getting really clear on roles. And what we find is that the definition of product management and product marketing is dramatically different in almost every company that we go inside. And that includes large companies, small companies. And many times, if you ask groups outside of product management, what does a product manager do? They're very unclear about it. They really they've never been taught what the role is. So you want to get very clear on what the roles are. What do product managers and product marketers do, and what do they not do? Now, along with that, you want to make sure that you have the right people. And what I mean by this is you have to make sure that from a personality and aptitude point of view, you have people who are doing product management and who are doing product marketing that have really the right personality and that are good and like what they're doing. So people tend to fall into three camps. There are the highly analytical, perhaps a little bit more introverted, highly technical people, and they work really well in product management, working with engineering, defining customer needs, working with the engineering team to make trade-offs in terms of schedule, feature sets, etc. And then you have people who are a little more extroverted and are really excellent communicators who are great at inspiring people and getting people excited about products. And they really fill the product marketing role very, very well. Because they're able to launch the product and go out and communicate about the product, make sure the positioning and the pricing are all very compelling, and really help to make sure that the product is as successful as possible once it's launched. And then the third kind of person is a person who can truly do both of those roles. And it's that the person who has that skill set is rare, but there are people that can truly do both. So what I mean by right people here is if you put someone who's a really strong analytical product manager in a position where they also have to do the outbound product marketing portion of the role, oftentimes they'll be uncomfortable with it and they won't do it in an optimal way. And vice versa, if you take a real strong product marketing person and you put them in a product management role, helping to define the products, many times they won't be successful. So you really need to make sure that you've got the right people that match those roles. And on our website, there's a section called Resource Central, and we have a white paper called Product Management versus Product Marketing, where we define the roles very clearly. And I would highly encourage you all to download it and feel free to leverage it as a resource that you can use in your company to help get clarity in terms of your roles. And once you have that clarity, go out and evangelize. Make sure that the other groups really, truly understand what product management, what product marketing are, and why they're so important. And then lastly, you want to make sure that from a people point of view, everyone has a really good foundation and baseline skill set. What you find in product management is that there is no traditional career path into product management. For example, I started in technical support and then moved into product management. Many people start in sales. Many engineers move into product management. Lots of support people do. So people come with a very different set of backgrounds and a very different set of skills. So you really want to put people through something like our optimal product management 3-day course, so you can get everyone up to a baseline skill set that is really brings them up to a level of excellence. That way they'll all be using the same terminology. Everything will be done consistently, and you'll know that every person on the team has the ability to manage every product or any product throughout the entire product life cycle. Now, this is a concept that we teach in our training courses, and that is make sure that you're a product manager and not a product janitor. And what we mean by this is far too often we see product managers who they don't have clear roles and responsibilities. So as a result, almost everything, they become a catch-all, and almost everything ends up on their to-do list. And they end up doing a lot of things that product management really shouldn't be doing. And as a result, they can't spend the time and the effort to do the strategic thinking and the strategic work that needs to be done in order to make the product successful. In terms of roles and responsibilities, again, I sort of described this already, but product management, we think of product management as inbound, creating a great product, to use a consumer example, creating a great product and getting it on the shelf. And then product marketing is doing great marketing and messaging, et cetera, and taking that and making sure that product gets off the shelf. Again, there's a white paper about this on our website that I highly encourage you to download. One book that I highly recommend is called Now Discover Your Strengths. And the idea behind this book is to really focus on what people are good at and what they like doing, and make sure that you're aligning them in terms of the job. So a simple example that they use in the book is if you have children and they come home with a report card and they got an A+ in science and an A in math and an A in history, and then they got a C in English. Well, the typical thing to do, the typical way we approach that is to say, oh, well, it's great that you got, your grades look really good, but we've really got to focus on English. You have to spend most of your time on it. And the reality is that particular child may not have the aptitude for that particular subject, number one. And number two, it may not be something that they're interested in. So the basis of the book is do the things that you're really good at, that you really like doing. And if you align your product management teams this way, so that the people with the right skills and the right interest are doing the right jobs, it makes a huge difference. So after you define the actual roles, I highly encourage you to do a product management core skills checklist. So make a list of all the things that are under the responsibilities for product management and product marketing, and then have either managers or the people themselves, or we also offer a 360 evaluation where the stakeholders, the other team members like engineering managers and salespeople and the person's manager do an evaluation of how good the person is at any of these particular skills. And if you do this across your entire team, you can get a very good picture of where your team is strong and where your team needs improvement. And that's a great way to get ready to have someone come in and do training. So oftentimes we'll do this with clients, and it allows us to create a completely customized training program. So in some cases, for example, product management may not be doing positioning or win-loss analysis in some companies, or just may not be that important, but market requirements are really important. And so if we find that market requirements are not as strong as they need to be, we'll do a specific course on market requirements to get the team up to speed. It's also really useful to set up a formal coaching and mentoring system. The senior people on your team to officially be coaches or mentors for the more junior people. And then I highly recommend that you build this into quarterly reviews. So, evaluate someone and say, hey, here's the 3 or 4 places where you need to be stronger. And then each quarter review. Are you doing better on it? What have you done to learn? Have you read books? Have you attended webinars and other things? Have you gone to training that's going to help you be better at that? Now, the second aspect is that we're going to talk about is process. And in many cases, there are a lot of people who consider process to be a dirty word or something that they really don't like. This is particularly true in startups. People who start startups tend to be process averse, just because they're very creative people. They don't want to be constrained. They want to think out of the box. So the important thing about process is that you implement just enough. So you want it as lightweight as possible, so that it doesn't become about doing the process. It becomes about the process helping you get good products to market in a more reliable way, with less stress on the team, and being more customer focused. And there's a white paper on this as well called Lightweight Product Process that we have a lot of people who send it around their company, because it helps to convey what the benefits of having some process in place are. And once people understand the benefits, they tend to buy into doing process and having a process much more. For example, if your salespeople understand, okay, if we have a process, I'm going to have more reliable releases. So when I talk to my customers, I'll know what I can sell and what I can't sell. Or for your engineers, they'll understand if we have a process in place, there will be less cases of someone coming in and saying, drop everything, we're going to completely redefine the product or add this feature at the last minute. But process is highly context dependent. So if you're in a large company, you may need a heavier weight process because there are a lot more stakeholders and there are a lot more people that need to buy in. If you're in a small company, you may need very little process. In a large company, you might, for instance, write formal market requirements documents and do formal business cases where you actually go through, like you take our templates and you go through and write an actual document that gets signed off. And then in a smaller company, you might simply just look at the templates and say, and make sure that all the key questions are answered. And you may not even have to get anyone to formally sign off. You may just need to have a discussion and say, here's the business case and why we should do it. So other things about process in terms of context, as I mentioned, startups tend to be very chaotic, founder-driven. Oftentimes they luck out and release a first product, and it does very well. And then the founder will say, well, we don't need to have a process because we know how to do this. We're successful, etc. And what you find is when the company gets to a certain size, that really breaks. And that size is usually between 70 and 100 people. There are sociological studies that show that around 70 people is the most relationships that you can sort of handle, or that most human beings can handle in terms of keeping it in their head. And after 70, there's a real breaking point. And what happens is that's when people tend to break into sort of tribes, if you will, and politics starts happening, etc. And if you're a startup and you get to that point and you don't have any process, it becomes really challenging because every release then becomes a heroic effort just to get the product out. And then in large companies, you'll tend to see much heavier weight process. We have lots of clients who have far too much process, and it will take them a year to a year and a half to get a product through the business case and market requirement stage before they can even start developing the product. A lot of the context has to do with as I mentioned, the size and maturity of your company, but also the type of team that you have. If you have an engineering team that is very much on board and team-oriented, you may need far less process. But if you have a team that is very difficult to work with, you may need a more formal process. So you may need, a sign-off on a market requirements document in order to get them to commit and really buy in and develop what they need to do. This is an example of a lightweight product process that we invented, where all you've got is an idea. You do a proof of concept and quick business case and market requirements document. Engineering does a spec and a schedule, and then you do a product launch plan, and it's sort of a 4-phase approach. Many companies make the mistake of, when they switch to agile development, which can be really an excellent methodology for getting features and products out quickly and meeting customer needs, but they make the mistake of thinking, well, we're agile, so we don't need any process. And the reality is, you still need the other phases. You need to do a business case. Even if you're an agile development shop, do some critical thinking about, should we actually be developing this product? Is it core to our business? Do we have the core competencies to pull it off? And the other part about agile is get really clear on the rules. So we see a lot of companies where they decide they're going to do agile. They never officially define what that means, so they're not doing formal Scrum or any other process. And as a result, it turns out to be a real nightmare. For example, if you're doing agile, where you're doing, and for those of you who aren't familiar with agile, agile is just a way to develop things in a faster way, rather than, for instance, if you're doing a software product, rather than taking a year to a year and a half to develop a large release and then releasing it to customers, after a lengthy period. The idea behind agile is you would do shorter development phases, perhaps 1 month, that are called sprints, where you implement a smaller number of features, but you do them very rapidly, and you get lots of customer input as you're going. So one of the challenging points that I was just talking about is, in many cases, there aren't clearly defined rules about what happens when someone, or what are the conditions where a sprint can actually be called off. So, the CEO or your top sales guy comes in and says, I have to have this particular feature. You need to get it into this sprint. And the team says, well, it'll never make it in this sprint. So what are the rules? Do you stop the sprint then and completely redefine and start another one? Or is the rule that it's not, the sprint's already defined, it will get in the next sprint and in terms of planning. So get really clear on what the rules are. So to assess your product or your process, identify the process being used. And many times you'll find that the processes across different groups in your company are dramatically different. Get clear on the context. How much process do you need versus, again, make it as lightweight as possible. Compare it against some best practices. Look at our optimal product process book and see where you're strong, see where you're weak. Eliminate any inefficiencies, anything that you're doing. Really look at where the bottlenecks are and try to streamline them. Now, the third aspect is tools. And you really want to make sure that your tools map directly to the process. And what we find is that in a lot of companies, a lot of our clients, there's a lack of tools and a lack of consistency. And what happens is you'll end up with product managers having to recreate things that have already been created. For instance, a market requirements document. Rather than having a good template that everyone uses that's consistent and having examples of prior market requirements documents that have been written that people can leverage, you'll find that product managers have to every time someone goes to create that particular document, they have to, email everyone around, look for, and try to sort of cobble up samples, and many times create their own document or their own template. And what you want is a set of productivity tools that are very consistent, that map to your process, and that, again, are appropriate for your context. So it could be that you just simply need some templates where you, in your case, you might formally fill out the documents and sign off, or you may just want to look at the templates and make sure you're making all of the critical decisions and thinking everything through at each phase in the life cycle. You may also need some software. In many cases, in larger companies, they'll implement solutions to truly, for instance, capture market requirements. But either way, make sure you only have just enough. So again, it doesn't become the process being the end goal. And if you haven't looked at our toolkits and templates, we have 8 different toolkits that cover everything from prioritizing features to building roadmaps to there's one called the Product Management Lifecycle Toolkit that has all of the core documents for the life cycle. And they're a good basis to start from. Another thing that we do for clients, and I highly encourage people to do in their companies, is create a product manager's manual. So the manual includes what are the roles and responsibilities, what's the actual process, who's responsible for what, and what happens, who needs to sign off at all of the different phases. And this is useful for a couple of reasons. First, it gives you a framework for making sure that you've thought through all of these different aspects and gotten buy-off from the other folks in product management, and that allows you to communicate it to your corresponding peer groups. But it's also very useful for the case where you have new product managers that come in, because it's a single resource where they can learn about exactly what their responsibilities are and exactly how to do product management at your particular company. So the Product Manager's Manual is really useful. When I was a product manager at Apple, we had one of these, and it was extremely helpful. If at any point you could simply pick it up and look at where you were in the product life cycle and figure out exactly what you needed to do next. Now, another thing we do for clients is, and I highly encourage you to consider implementing, is a product management portal. And this is one central place for all product managers to go, where they can learn about the process. You can document the process. You might have a product manager's manual there. You have your core tools and templates that are consistent that anyone can get to. You might have on-demand training or links to useful things like a blog or blogs on product management. And then also put an archived product documents section. So anytime anyone creates a market requirements document or a business case or a launch plan, make sure it gets archived. That way, when a product manager goes to write a new launch plan, not only do they have the template in the portal, but they also can then go and look at archived documents, see what other people have written, and really have some examples of what a good document should include and what the thinking should cover in terms of the overall, that particular task. Now, the last thing before we get to questions and the drawing is ideas for making it stick. So develop a plan for this. So figure out what your charter is, figure out your roles, your process, your tools, and then take that plan. Once you've got it thought through and once you've done the footwork that I've just described, and evangelize it to management. Make sure you get upper management support. Make sure they understand the benefits of why this is going to be important, and then communicate it to your peer groups. So go to your engineering team's staff meeting, go to your technical support department, go to your sales folks, and communicate. This is why product management is important, and this is how we're going to implement it. I actually have a presentation on the role and value of product management in great companies, and I provide that for free. If anyone wants to get a copy, just email me, and it's a great thing to use to evangelize product management in your company. If you want a copy, just contact me at brian@280group.com. And once you're clear on what roles and responsibilities and process you're using, really be a broken record. So, and this ties back to the product management janitor slide. Say no when the things that are being thrust upon you are not appropriate for product management to be doing. Tie all this into reviews, and that should happen across the different departments. So, as your engineering team sticking to the process, and make sure you've got appropriate rewards for following it and punishments for not following it. Something we used to do at Apple that was very useful was we would do a quarterly product management summit. And what we would do is every product manager was given about a minute to stand up and just simply talk about what they were working on, which products and where they were in the process. And what we found was there was a tremendous amount of synergy in doing this, because we would find different parts of the company were working on similar things or things that could truly create a much better product for our customers if combined. And then lastly, sharpen the saw. Do things like buy books for all of your product managers, and make sure that they read them. One thing that a lot of our clients do is they'll buy a copy of my book, The Phenomenal Product Manager, and it's a really simple read. It's about 10 chapters. Each chapter is only like 8 or 10 pages. And what they'll do is they'll have everyone on the team read one chapter a week, and then at their staff meetings, they'll spend 10 minutes discussing it. So, for instance, there's a chapter on how to work more effectively with your engineering teams. So that's a great topic where you can read the examples and the ideas that I put forth, and then have a discussion about it. And oftentimes, you can learn from your peers a tremendous amount. Well, here's a method I use to influence our engineers. I did this and this and this. It can really make a big difference in terms of just how good your product management function is. I highly encourage you all to download a document I wrote, which is called the Product Management Manifesto. Many people download it and print it out and put it up in their cubes or offices. It's a distillation of what a great product manager should be. And we really, myself and my team, really tried to capture the essence of what it means to be a good product manager. And we got a tremendous amount of feedback from our LinkedIn group. We have a product management LinkedIn group that has almost 30,000 product managers on it. So we iterated it with feedback from folks, and please feel free to leverage it. It's a very useful resource. And of course, if you need help with any of this, we have assessments, training, and we can do custom private training. We can get you certified. We have books and templates and a whole range of resources that are designed to really help you dramatically improve product management at your company. And then we also have a whole range of free resources, templates, white papers, the Product Management Manifesto, our newsletter. We have a section on product management job listing sites. We have a blog and our books. And there's a section on our website called Resource Central where we offer all of these different resources. Most of them are free, and they're really designed so that to help you as product managers be the best that you can be. So with that, I think we're going to open it up to questions, and then we'll do the giveaway at the end after the questions. Cindy, do you want to pick some questions, and we'll take it from there?
Sure, lots of great questions, lots of great activity in the questions box. A lot of concern for your voice and throat. Please grab a glass of water while I'm going through the questions, Brian.
Yes.
Okay, so there were many questions having to do with they're in an organization. There's no distinctions about product management roles. There has been no precedence for product management, and I guess the person who's asking is thrown in and has to provide some structure and is looking for help.
Okay. One thing I would encourage is do email me for a copy of the presentation on why your company needs great product management. The first thing I would do is really get a handle on evangelizing that concept and introducing it to your executives. Many times they don't understand the role of product management, or they don't understand why they need it. And in that presentation, I actually go through the 7 big problems that companies have when they don't have good product management. And usually that's a wake-up call for the executives. So and they'll see that they are experiencing some of those problems, and good product management is going to help. Along with that, certainly implementing the ideas that I've talked about here, and or bringing in an expert. Many times companies come to us just because we're an outside group of experts, and we can come in and say, look, we've literally been inside hundreds of great companies, across the last 15 years we've been in existence, and we know what works and what doesn't. And having an external voice say, look, if you don't have good product management, you're not as profitable, and you're not making products that are as good as they could be. Many times having an external voice say that lends a lot of additional credibility. The other thing that you might consider is we do executive briefings where we talk about the importance of product management. So that's another resource. I would also highly encourage you to download the Optimal Product Process book. Again, it's free on our website, and use that as an evangelism tool in your company to help executives and other stakeholder groups understand why you need a good process, and why product management is going to be critical to your success.
Great. So a lot of questions about Agile, about Kanban, about the difference between the Agile product owner versus the project manager. There's a lot of questions, so I'm trying to give you the highlights of the patterns of questions.
Okay. So, Agile is, as I mentioned, it's a really excellent development methodology for certain types of products, but many companies don't understand how to do good product management when working with an Agile team. That's actually why Greg Cohen on our staff wrote the book, Agile Excellence for Product Managers, and we have a one-day course on it where we teach you as product managers how to be much more effective, and how your job changes as a product manager when you're working with Agile. My opinion is that if you're a product manager and you're not considered the product owner with an Agile team, then you're set up to fail. Because the product owner really is, the concept is that the product owner makes all of the critical decisions, and if product management doesn't own that, there will be a lot of suboptimal decisions that don't take into account the competition and the customers, all of the things that all the expertise that product management brings to the table.
Whoops. Hold on. I got a note saying the audio dropped, but I'm not sure if that's for everyone.
I hope not.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Great. Okay, thanks everyone. Excellent participation today. Okay, everyone's saying they can still hear. Okay, but let me flip down to the questions. So, do you have a recommendation for a specific set of tools and documentation that a good product manager should have in their toolkit?
Yeah. So you should, at a minimum, you should have. There are 9 core documents that every product manager needs to have, and that come into play across the entire life cycle. And this is actually described in the Optimal Product Process book. But those are a good business case, a market requirements document, a product requirements document, a beta program or early customer release program, product launch plans, marketing plans, and end of life plans. And all 7 of those, or excuse me, all 9 of those. I think I might have missed a couple, but at any rate, you can read about it in Optimal Product Process. But all of those are included in the Product Management Lifecycle Toolkit that we sell. I highly recommend that you take a look at it and either develop your own or get licenses for the folks on your team. There are a number of software tools out there. Accept software has been around for a long time. It's a very, very advanced tool. And there are some other tools from newer companies. But there's none that I can specifically recommend at this point.
Besides, don't you have a specific 280 group toolkit?
Yeah, so we have the Product Management Lifecycle Toolkit, and then we also have, as I mentioned, we have 8 different toolkits. So for road mapping and launches and feature prioritization, and you can purchase all 8 at a discount. They're bundled in a product called the Product Management Office Professional. And the idea behind the PM Office Professional is to really give a product management manager and or a product marketer everything that they could possibly need to manage the product effectively.
Okay, so by the way, everyone's asking, the slides will be available following the event on the AIPMM website under webinars, where there was more information. The slides will be posted within a couple of hours. They will also be available on the AIPMM slide share, as well as other webinars that Brian has given in this webinar series, including the one that he mentioned earlier. So those slides are available on SlideShare. Okay. So you mentioned that there isn't a typical path into product management. So for someone coming into product management with a project management and or engineering background, do you have any suggestions on how to break in?
Absolutely. Certainly, learning as much as you can about the profession, by reading books, by watching webinars like this. I highly recommend you take a look at becoming a certified product manager, because when you do that, you'll learn the skills and you'll have a worldwide standard certification that shows that you truly understand product management at a pretty deep level. That's a really good credential. As well as just simply going through courses. If you take a course like Optimal Product Management, it's a 3-day intensive course where we teach you, even if you've never done product management before, we teach you how to be a great product manager, and we teach you every aspect of product management. Having something like that as a credibility point is tremendously helpful. And then along with that, just build your relationships. I built relationships with product management people when I was in technical support. I volunteered to do work for them. help take some things off their plate. And I said, look, I'm really interested in this, and I'd like to do some work and help you out. And so the next time a product management position opened up, I was right there and was a logical candidate. So those are a couple of suggestions I'd have.
Okay, great. You seem to be focused on software. Can you elaborate how the role of product management might be different for tangible and intangible products?
Sure. Yeah, I focus a lot on software just because that's where my career has been. But the tools and the methodology that we've built are really designed for all different types of products and services. There are some differences, but for the most part, the 90% of the core of something like the optimal product process and product management responsibilities are very similar, no matter what kind of product or service you're working on. You're going to want to do a business case for it. You're going to want to figure out what the market needs are and market requirements. For a service or for a consumer product or things like that, you may or may not want to actually have an early customer program, or in software it's called a beta program. But we actually have people who come to our training courses from all different industries and all different types of products and services. And what you find is really good product management. It's kind of like accounting, right? Accounting doesn't change based on the industry that you're in, and the core skills and the methodology for product management really doesn't change that much across different products and services.
Right. So what is the benefit of getting certified? And let me just say, I'm a certified product manager and certified product marketing manager. And for me, it was a very, even after years of experience, it still provided an excellent foundation in the principles of product management. It gave me a breadth of appreciation for the profession beyond my direct experience, as well as a language in product management principles.
Yeah, I'm a certified product manager and certified product marketing manager as well. And the benefits, there are a number of them. The first is it's a way to differentiate yourself. So when you're going for that next great job, or if you're trying to break into product management, it's a way to show that you have a deep understanding of the profession and the expertise. Another big benefit is it helps to establish further credibility with your team members. So if you have a certificate, certified product manager certificate hanging in your office, it's oftentimes your engineers and other folks will start to realize, well, this is a really recognized formal profession. And this is a person who's dedicated to that profession and really has has credibility in terms of what they're doing. Those are a couple of the benefits. There's a section on our website that talks about the other benefits of it that you might want to take a look at.
Great. Do you have any suggestions for how you balance managing the engineering team versus the current product and looking ahead to the next product, as well as looking at the competitive space, the use cases? This person feels trapped in the management of the engineering, the documentation of the specs and the requirements, and doesn't see how to be looking ahead strategically into launch plans and business cases for the next product.
Sure, and that's incredibly common. I have a couple of suggestions. The first is get really clear on what you are and aren't going to do in terms of your role. And one of the most difficult things and the most important things to do as a product manager is to effectively say no when you need to. There's actually a rule in the 42 Rules of Product Management that talks about, the most important word for a product manager is no. And it's very difficult because there are things that need to get done. Many times your engineering team will ask you to do things that are not necessarily appropriate. For instance, if they're asking you to write product specs, that is really an engineering function. You can describe what the customer problems are, the customer needs, and you can read through and approve a spec to make sure it's going to match those needs. But if you're writing the actual specs as a product manager, that's probably not a role you should be taking on. There is a section in my book, The Phenomenal Product Manager, that's all about product management productivity. And what it is it's a methodology that I developed for getting real clear on what your priorities are in terms of as a product manager, you're always going to have a completely out of control list of things that needs to get done. It's just inevitable. And if you don't have a method for organizing that and being really good at looking at what's important versus and what must be done versus what you're going to say no to, if you don't have that in place, the job can be incredibly stressful. There's a book called Total Workday Control using Microsoft Outlook that I highly recommend as well. And some of the techniques I talk about in the productivity section are all about are tied into that. I've also done a productivity webinar in the past. That's something we offer to our clients, and I'll probably be doing one in the future because every time we do it, we get a huge number of people that sign up because it's really one of the big challenges of the profession.
Okay, we're coming to the end of the hour. So we need to do the raffle for the 5 winners. And okay, I'm getting the hat over here. And do you want to name?
Sure.
Give me the name, and I'll do the drawing. I will pick.
Yeah. So the first one is 42 Rules of Product Marketing, and it's a collection of rules from product marketing experts around the world. We went out and asked people to give us to give us a simple rule. If they could tell a room full of product marketing people anything to make their job more effective, what would they say? And so we did that for product marketing and product management. So the first one's 42 Rules of Product Marketing.
Okay, and the winner of that is Martha Garbolino. Congratulations, Martha. Oh, we didn't. Sorry, I went too fast. I didn't wait for the drum roll. All right.
Okay, we'll do the drum roll on the next. The next one is Expert Product Management.
Expert Product Management. All right. Gosh, I didn't pick quick enough there. The winner of Expert Product Management is Bhageshri Lagu.
Okay. And the next is the Phenomenal Product Manager.
Okay. And the winner of that is Carolina Azar.
Okay. And next is Agile Excellence for Product Manager.
Laura Hawley.
Great. And the last one is 42 Rules of Product Management.
Okay. Whoops. Hold on a second. We're stuck. Okay. Sue Marmion.
Great. So we'll be emailing all the winners copies of electronic copies of the books. I want to thank Cindy and AIPMM again for hosting this, and I hope I've provided some useful information. If you have any questions to follow up, you can email us or give us a call. And thanks to the audience for the good questions and being part of this.
Great. And thank you. And do you have one more slide for the coming up? The coming attractions. So thank you for joining us. This was excellent participation. Please join us again next Friday, where the topic will be how to create a culture for product excellence, which I will be giving. I will be giving that webinar. So please join me. And also join us on Monday for the Global Product Management Talk, where we are talking with Chris Passioni of the Luma Institute about human-centered design. How do you include HCD principles into your product management and product development activities? For more information about the AIPMM, follow them on LinkedIn, the company /AIPMM. Go to AIPMM.com. I apologize if I gave you the wrong URL for the slides. Just go to the AIPMM.com /AIPMM_webinars, and you'll see the list of the most recent webinars. The slides will be posted in a few hours. And definitely for more information about everything that Brian talked about, go to 280group.com, and their resource section is excellent. Thanks for joining us. Join us again on Monday and Friday, and have a great week. Thanks to BZ Lewis, our engineer, and Blame Sally for the music. Thanks, Brian.